Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kop On podcast. Kop On live. It's great to have you with us. I was just wondering what you think about predictions, how the season's going to go. I'm getting very excited, and I had a bit of time, at least until the boy wakes up. So I thought I'd come on here and see how you're doing and what's happening. So please let me know in the comments what's going on. Is everything okay? Can you see me? Can you hear me? You're welcome to the community anyway. This is Kop on YouTube only. I'm not going to put this on the audio feed because it's going to be a visual thing. And yeah, we'll just figure it all out as we're going along. There is a page I can share with you, which is the Premier League table predictor 25-26. Now, this will come up on your screens very shortly. And it's from the Premier League's official account. It says predict the 25-26 league table. So we're going to drag and drop. You could see the teams in alphabetical order. Hold, drag and drop the teams below. So let's start with Arsenal. Arsenal have brought in some very good players. Norgard a little bit over the hill, but good player nonetheless. Their midfield, I would replace Odegaard. They haven't brought in Eze, who's a better player than Odegaard. So I think their captain, it might be their biggest problem, oddly. The defense is good. The goalkeeper is good. They're a good team. Will they end up actually challenging to win the league? I mean, they've been second, 4 times in a row? Something like that. I don't know. So let's see. Let's see if they can do it. Yeah. So apparently we are live. So do let me know if the comments are coming through or not. I could just share a link out there, see if we can get some people going. Get some more people in the chat. Here we go. So yeah, do let me know if anyone's out there. Just send your comments in. Yeah, Premier League prediction then. Arsenal. Gyökeres. I mean, Arsenal for me, they have this sort of confidence that's entirely flimsy. If Gyökeres hits the ground running, because they've needed a striker for a long time, then it could work out well for them. But I wasn't impressed with how well they were able to create, basically. I don't think they're a very creative team. Their top scorer had 9 goals. 9 goals last season. So Gyökeres needs to just get like 30 in his first season. But Arsenal's confidence is so chipped. You know, it's so, I mean, it's not chipped yet, but you think that it's like a sort of priceless Ming vase or something. You know, as soon as a slight chip appears, it might crumble. I don't know. So I'm gonna put Arsenal in 4th because I think that they're not gonna do very well. For their standards anyway. Aston Villa. Oh, hang on. Arsenal have got Zubamendi. That's a step up. Gyökeres, he's going to score a lot of goals for them. But they were so far off it, really. Yeah, okay. 3rd. All right, 3rd. Aston Villa aren't going to do very well. They haven't bought well. They're going to struggle this season. I'm going to put them in, for the moment, I'm going to put them mid-table, and then we'll figure it out from there. Bournemouth as well. They've signed Diakite today. They need to sign a lot more players, but I'm going to put them in sort of lower middle table for now because you can't replace your defence if you're a team like Bournemouth and still, expect to do as well as last year. I think they have an amazing coach, but there you go. Brentford, they've sold Mbeumo. They're going to sell Whistle, it looks like. I'm not convinced by players like Ethan Pinnock anymore because he's a bit old, so I think they need new defenders. They've sold Norgard, who was one of their best players, and I don't know. I really rate Schade very highly, but he's also injury prone. I'm going to put them lower mid-table, but we'll have a very struggling season. Around about 15th, 16th, we'll see what happens there. Brighton, 8th, around about there. I've got not much to say about them. I'm full of admiration for Brighton, their model, but they've lost João Pedro. He's going to be a big miss, but I love Mitoma, I love Minte. And we'll just see if they've got the strike force to replace Pedro. I might put them down a little bit further down, actually. Let's see. Around about there, around about 9th. Let's see. So we're going through these alphabetically, of course. Burnley. Well, Burnley. Scott Parker is the manager. He cares more about his jackets than the football. So Burnley right at the bottom, 20th. They just don't have anything that excites me, I'm afraid. Chelsea Football Club, yeah, Chelsea. I'm going to keep them as one place below Arsenal. For now, they've signed an inordinate amount of players. I think they're going to improve. For now, I might change my mind, but one place below Arsenal for now. Crystal Palace, great team, great team. But they've got Europe to deal with, even though it's the Conference League, which will actually help them so they can rotate. But I really like their manager, I really like their team. The nonsense about the booing and all that stuff, it's a complicated story, but I just think it was a couple of people who didn't really realise what was happening. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to put them as 6th for now. So where are we? We're at Everton. Villa have jumped up here because I've relegated everyone to mid-table, so let's keep them back in the mid-table. Everton, oh man, Everton. Their new stadium, Bramley Apple, Moore, Dock, Hill, Dickinson. One exit. That's actually a genuine concern. Is the safety of the exits in Everton Stadium. They'll get a couple of good results, but they've got a couple of good players, but it's the typical Everton season. Can I put everyone in 14th? Because this seems to be what I've done. Or a lot of people anyway. Fulham as well. They've bought no one and sold no one, which is interesting. And I think their players will get better. I really like Muniz. So I'm going to say Fulham mid-table. Everybody's mid-table. That's impossible. Crystal Palace, yeah, they're not going to finish as high as them. Leeds, unfortunately, all of these new boys are going to go straight back down again, as we've seen again and again. Liverpool, Liverpool. We need to sign. Looks like we're going to sign Gahey and Leone, which is what we need. If we get Isak over the line either in the summer or in January, that would be fantastic. In terms of our system, I would like us to change, but I'm going to put us as first because we have Viets, we have Ekitike. I really like the new signings, and we've got Arne Slot, who hopefully will be able to push on with all these new faces, but we're still a bit short for now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep Liverpool in first place or not. I don't know. Man City, now it's a difficult one to predict. People who don't watch a lot of Ligue 1 won't realise how good Shirky is. He's an incredible player. Reinders got 2 goals in their friendly last week, so that's very exciting. Graham Rogers is in the chat. Hello, Graham. We said great to catch you live. I start teaching on the hour. Oh, no problem. Well, there you go. Just let me know your predictions, Graham, if you agree or not with what I'm saying. And thanks for coming on the last show. I made it to the audio feed, but not the YouTube one for some reason. Okay, so where are we? Yeah. So Liverpool, Man City. Yeah. Reinders is good. Shirky is good, but Rodri's injured, and their defense is not good. They're missing Kyle Walker. He's a very hard person to replace. They need Van der Ven, if I'm honest. They need someone with absolutely mind-blowing speed who can run back like Liverpool do. They got similar problems to Liverpool. But Haaland, I think, will have a lot to prove. And Shirky will be able to find him better than a crocked Kevin De Bruyne was able to last season. So, yeah, it's going to be between Liverpool and Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea for the title. I'm going to come back to who's going to win it a bit later. So who have we got next? Man United. Man United will do better. They will do better. Just like everyone, I've put everyone in mid-table. They've got to sign a goalkeeper. It looks like they will, but I don't know if it's going to be Donnarumma or someone. But if they get Baleba, that's a huge thing for them. If they get Baleba and a really good goalkeeper, don't know if they'll be able to get Donnarumma, but a really good goalkeeper, then I'd put them as high as like 8th or 7th or even 6th. But I don't know. I'm not sure. Man United, I'll keep them 9th for now. Newcastle. Newcastle. It's going to be a difficult season for Newcastle, so I'm going to put them lower mid-table. Nottingham Forest, I like him. Their defence is excellent. I'm surprised not too many people have gone in for their defenders. I rate their centre backs, Murillo and Milinkovic, higher than Chelsea's, for example. I think they're excellent centre backs. Ola Aina, solid right back. They're a good team. Elliot Anderson's fantastic, and Chris Pele Wood as well. I can see Nottingham Forest doing really well. As high as 5th, I don't know. This table isn't finished yet. Let's see who else we've got. Spurs gonna do well under Thomas Frank. I think they need a striker. I think they need to replace Son with someone a lot better than Richarlison or Solanke. But I'll put them around. Yeah, I don't know. Below Brighton. I think they'll finish below Brighton. I think Brighton will finish above Palace, because I imagine Palace are going to lose Gehi. Yeah, they've got very good players. So if they keep Adam Wharton, if they keep Eze, it all depends on that. So yeah, Newcastle, Sunderland, sorry guys, bottom 3. They've signed some exciting players. Mark Guiu, Adingra is a great buy for Sunderland. They've got a couple of young players who are worth looking at, especially Chris Brigg. I think he's 17 or 18 now. Had a great season in the Championship last year. But for me, Sunderland, down the bottom somewhere. Wolves, I like Wolves. Good team, good manager. Top 10 for Wolves. Wolves and Villa fighting it out. I think Wolves are going to finish above Villa. Sorry, Villa fans. Yeah, wow. Is this yeah? We're getting close to our league table now. West Ham, 17th. No, they're better than 17th. But it's Graham Potter. I don't rate him. I used to be a Potter fan when he was at Brighton, thinking that he was largely responsible for how brilliantly they were doing. And then I realised it was their model, their transfer model. So I'm going to put them finishing, below Newcastle, above Sunderland, 17th. Yeah, but Everton. Brentford. Oh man, Brentford are going to struggle. Put them above Man United again. Yeah, just for fun. Bournemouth down here a bit. Villa 10th. No, I'm going to swap Villa and Man United. So Man United 10th. Pull it. There you go. That's more like it. Wolves up there. Yeah. Strand Larsen. Jakob Strand Larsen. He's the most underrated striker in the league. And he's on fire as well. He's really, really good player. So for me, Strand Larsen is going to power Wolves into a top 10 finish. That's my top 4. Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea. And I'm gonna put City down here. I'm gonna put City down here. I think Arsenal have strengthened more than any other team, apart from Liverpool. Liverpool have strengthened the most from a position of strength. Chelsea might finish above Arsenal, you know. João Pedro and Delap, they really needed a number 9. They got 2 very good ones. Very good ones. The defence is an issue, the goalkeeper's an issue. The defence is an issue for Liverpool. Attacking is the issue for Arsenal. But maybe they've solved it with Gyökeres. Havertz will be back, but he's injury prone. Saka is injury prone. They've got Nwaneri, excellent player. Man, it's hard to decide. Arsenal above Chelsea because they've got a better defence. And Man City, yeah, I'm not feeling it. Unless Rodri was back and firing and fit. I think Pep Guardiola is his last season. Going forward, they'll be good, but in the back, not. Especially if they sell Savinho to Spurs, that would be a terrible thing. Brighton below Spurs, Palace above Brighton. The Palace fans will be happy with me. Nottingham Forest all the way up there? No, I don't see it actually. Palace finishing 6th? No, because they're losing their players. What are you talking about, Owen? They lost too many players. Brighton have lost their strikers, but they have a good defence. I don't know. Wolves. There you go. There you go. I think I'm done. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Spurs in 5th. Forest, Wolves, Brighton, Palace, Man United, Fulham, Villa, Bournemouth, Everton, Brentford, Newcastle, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds and Burnley. Continue. 76 points. Well, that's exciting. Oh, how many points will the champions get in total? Ooh. 89, about there. Will anyone crack 90 points? No, everyone's got a dodgy defence. Liverpool signed these 2 central defenders. That will help, but systemically, we're going to be caught on the break too easily. So I think 89, 88, 88 points. There you go. Go for infinity. There you go. And your chance to win. I accept the terms and conditions and confirm that I am over 13 years of age. Yes, despite my skincare routine. That is my table predictor. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Spurs, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Brighton, Palace, Man United, Fulham, Villa, Bournemouth, Everton, Brentford, Newcastle, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds and Burnley. Thank you so much for joining me, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is just a quick YouTube thing. Oh, we've got some more comments. Anfield Irishman is here. Anfield Irishman, I'm always listening to your channel. I'd love to go on there at some point. Brighton have done some good business this summer. Do you know what? You have done more research than I have because I can't remember. I'm going to say Brighton players signed summer 25. I'm going to see who they've brought in. Excuse me. They brought Tommy Watson from Sunderland, who got their winner in the final. Young Do Young from Daejeon Hana Citizen, who's probably the best player Korea's ever produced. Charalampos Kostulas from Olympiakos. Diego Coppola from Verona. I tell you what, Anfield Irishman. It's Brian, isn't it? You're doing great, man. This is. I love your channel, and you're doing great if you understand who Brighton have gone in. Let me just share my screen. That's a really good question about Brighton. Let's see what they've done. Let me just see what they've done. Bournemouth, Brighton. Yes, Brighton. There you go. Whoa, it's all shaky. Oh, it's all shaky, man. Calm yourself. Calm yourself. If I speak authoritatively, perhaps it will listen. Be calmed. No, it's not working. Brighton. Okay. Transfers in. I just have to tell you. Niels Ramming from Eintracht Frankfurt. Olivier Boskagli from PSV, Maxim de Kuiper from Club Bruges, Sean Keogh from Dundalk, and Kofi Shaw from Bristol Rovers. As usual with Brighton, I love the business because I haven't heard of any of them really. So Anfield Irishman, you're going to have to enlighten me as to who you think. And Anfield Irishman says you're welcome on any time. It's always an open call-in. Well, great. I would love to. I would love to join you. Yeah, I know it's always an open call-in. I actually listen. I've got your show in my ears often when I'm putting my little boy to bed because he's like drifting off to sleep. It takes him a long time, the poor little guy, to go to sleep. I don't know. He likes to sleep with someone next to him. It helps him feel safe. He's only 2. And so, yeah, I do that and I listen to your show and I'm like, oh man, I'd love to join in. But great that you found this channel. So, yeah, Brighton have done some good business this summer. I take your word for it, Brian. I take your word for it. I don't know who they are. Bongo O'Malley. Oh, and Anfield Irishman says the Greek striker is one to watch. Okay, I shall watch it. Bongo O'Malley says my favourite of all the Liverpool channels. Oh man, Bongo. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, I love all of the listeners of Kop On equally. I cannot choose, but you're the favourite one who talks about black holes and stars and spirituality and the universe with such verbosity. Thank you very much for being with us. But Bongo says, have got to go out, so I'll catch this later on. Keep up the good work, fella. Pip, pip, love Bongo. Well, pip, pip, to you, Bongo. The Dugout Football Channel. Hi, Owen. Hello, Doug. Douglas, let me know your predictions. And there you go. All these legends in the chat. Gary Richards, tally-ho. Owen, dear boy. Pip, pip, Gary. How the devil are we? Do let me know. And Spider saying, is this where all the legends hang out? Well, now that you're here, Kev, we can say that. Absolutely. So I'll just share my predictions again. And you can tell me, let me know in the chat, is this all nonsense? What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? Let's go back a page. How can I win? I'm not going to win. Good Lord. I can barely predict what I have for dinner. Let me see if I can go back to the right page. There we go. Here it is. Let's see if it's saved my predictions or not. Because if not, log into view again. Okay, well, basically my top 4 is Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City. That's where it all happens. And my relegated teams, I mean, it's log into view. I thought I'd just done that. Oh, it's I don't know, technical problems. Goodness, we'll give it some time. See what happens. I don't know. Okay, it's not working. There you go. Confirmation. Bournemouth have signed French defender Diakite from Lille. Good player. I know a little bit about him from living in France. Good player. And they need about 3 more defenders because they've sold them all. But yeah, so let me know. Nottingham Forest. I think they're going to be the surprise team of the season. Player of the season. Should we do that? Should we go there? Let's go there. I would say Florian Wirtz. Call me biased. Call me whatever you like. Within reason. But I'm saying Florian Wirtz will be the Players' Player of the Year. The journalists and the fans, they get it wrong all the time. But I think Florian Wirtz will be the Players' Player of the Year. And that's the real Player of the Year that counts. Voted by your fellow professionals. And there you go. I think I'm going to chip off now because the boy's going to wake up. But thank you so much for this, for joining me, this little live that we just done. Gary Rich is in the chat. Let's just go for. Oh, and are you concerned about Isak's character? Great question, Gary. Am I concerned about Isak's character? let me put it this way, Gary. What would you do? You're a Liverpool fan. I'm going to assume that Alexander Isak is a Liverpool fan as well. The only difference between you being you and me being me as Liverpool fans and Alexander Isak being a Liverpool fan is Alexander Isak is one of the best strikers in the world. So if you or I were one of the best strikers in the world and we really wanted to join Liverpool, you would know, because you've got 3 years left of your deal, that the only way you can join the club you love is by kicking up a stink. And you would have been promised last year that you could keep your options open this summer, which apparently that's happened. Alexander Isak has made it clear for a long time that he wants to join Liverpool. Then I think his actions are just the necessary actions on the outset of someone who's trying to force a move away from the club. Just like Coutinho did for us. Torres as well, joining Chelsea. He wanted out when he went to Chelsea. And we were pissed off at him, of course. We saw it as jumping ship. And that's how the Newcastle fans are going to see it. It's sort of when Coutinho left or Fernando Torres left. But are there questions about Isak's character? No, I don't think so. I mean, if he was just doing this because Liverpool were offering a ton more money than he was getting at Newcastle, then I would say, yeah, that's a big red flag. But he seems to be doing it because he just really wants to join Liverpool and he knows that his career is short. And Newcastle have done loads of petty things like not inviting him to a barbecue. And we know how much Isak loves a hot dog. So, I think Isak is acting within his rights of, someone who is, emotionally not in a particularly stable place, probably, because he feels his own life, his own future is out of his hands. So I don't think it casts doubt on his character. But let me know what you think as well. It'd be great to know what you think. Gary says Liverpool to do the treble. That would be nice. Sunderland, Bournemouth and Brentford to go through the trapdoor. Bournemouth and Brentford, worse than Leeds? Worse than Burnley? You predict Scott Parker's Burnley will finish above Bournemouth and Brentford. Wow. I think Bournemouth will struggle, but at that point, I think it comes down to the manager and the system, and they've got a great manager and a great system. So I think they've kept Semenyo, they've kept Kluivert, Bournemouth have, and those are two fantastic players. So I don't think they're going to struggle as much as you think, but it's just my opinion. You're welcome to yours. Gary says Ekitike, player of the bloody season. I was speaking to someone yesterday or the day before yesterday, who was a former teammate of Ekitike, and he confided in me that he thinks Liverpool have drastically overpaid for Ekitike, and he's a good player, but he's not that good. And then he scored in the Charity Shield. And I said to my student, whoa, did you see Ekitike's performance? My student said he just watched the highlights. But he said Ekitike is just one game. We can't get too excited. But maybe he's going to be a great player for Liverpool. So my student is already backtracking on his words. So maybe he will eat them. And I'll stuff them inside the humble pie that I'm going to cook my student at the end of the season. If indeed Gary is right and Ekitike is the player of the bloody season. Let's hope so. Douglas from the Dugout Football Channel says, I'm going to say now, only one promoted side goes down. And that's interesting, Doug. I'd like to hear your views about why, which one. Leeds are going to stay up. Burnley? For me, Sean Dyche is going back to Burnley. Trust me. By Christmas, it'll be Dyche December. It'll be a Sean Dyche Christmas jumper, throaty voiced. I was going to say Boxing Day game, but 27th of December game, where he's going to be like, oh, well, I've hit the boys. did all right today. After they get a 1-1 draw away at Fulham in a dog of a match. That's what's going to happen. Spider Kev says Leeds and Sunderland stay up. Very interesting. Burnley, Brentford, and Wolves go down. Wolves, I had them in the top 10. Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Arsenal for top 4. I agree with you. Is that your order, Kev? Liverpool, then Chelsea, then City, then Arsenal? Oh, it's an interesting one. City and Chelsea above Arsenal. I wonder if that's because the confidence of Arsenal is paper thin. Do let me know. Because if Arsenal, let's face it, if Arsenal lose the first game away at Old Trafford to Man United, very possible. And then in their third game, they're playing Liverpool, and they lose that. They've lost 2 of their first 3. They might draw the other one, or even if they win the other one, 3 points from 3 games. Already, like, the panic is going to set in. Arsenal, they don't have this championship mentality. They've just got a madman, an inexperienced madman at the helm. And Arteta is not the man. He's proven that he cannot develop players. So you might be right. Arsenal in 4th. I've got them a 2nd again because I think they've bought some good players. But Kev says Newcastle, United, Villa, and Palace below them for Europe. But Europe is key. Yeah. That could be realistic. Oh, but I disagree with Newcastle. I think they're really going to struggle. I don't see it. Like, if they lose Isak, well, they've lost Isak. He's never going to play for them again. Anthony Gordon's madly overrated because he's English. He's like a defensive winger. He's a good defensive winger. Will get you 6 goals, 5 assists a season. Nowhere near good enough. You want to challenge for the top 4 Champions League kind of thing, even though they did last season because Isak was there. And it's just something about the, barbecue or no barbecue. The team spirit's going to be badly affected when they lose their world-class striker. So I think they're going to really struggle this year. Gary says Gahey is a huge signing. Massive, Gary. He makes a lot of sense. He makes a lot of sense as a ball-playing centre-back. I would like him to be extremely rapid, and I don't think he is extremely rapid. I don't think he's slow, but I don't think he's extremely rapid. But he's solid. He's going to have the homegrown quota. Very, very good with the ball. And yeah, good at winning, great at winning duels, and that's what we need. Spider confirms that that's his order. Liverpool, then Chelsea, then City, then Arsenal for the top 4. Kev says Arteta is losing the plot. Has he ever had the plot? I think he might have received the plot, or at least a vague outline of the plot, and then he just sort of chucked it in the bin with his leftover, fish and chips or whatever, because he mistook it for like the newspaper that the chips was wrapped in. I don't think he ever read even the outline of the plot. He's completely mad. He had a dog called it Win. He played You'll Never Walk Alone in training on speakers really loud. There's something deeply odd about that man, and I don't think the plot has ever come into it. He's more like a sort of Andy Warhol art house film from the 1960s, just a series of superficial images. So Spider, to clarify, Europe is key. What he meant by Europe is key, Kev was saying that Europe is key for players because all the teams playing in Europe will be affected by playing in Europe. So, okay, so that affects the list and the order. Yes, okay. Douglas says Sean Dyche will be in at Leeds once they get rid of Farker. I forgot that Farker was still there. I thought they'd already gotten rid of him, but I guess I don't know. I don't follow Leeds closely enough. Dyche at Leeds, I think he's gonna hold on for Burnley, but okay. Douglas says my 3 to go down are Burnley, Wolves, and Brentford. Yeah, but everyone's saying Wolves, man. Everyone's saying Wolves. Wolves have got decent players. Joe Gomez. Strand Larsen, who I mentioned before. Brentford, yeah, Brentford are going to struggle. But Wolves, I think they're all right. I think they're okay. Gary says, Owen, one would go for Barcola ASAP. I would not just go for Barcola, I would organise some kind of, I don't know, some kind of kidnapping if I could. I would, I don't know, snare him. I'd get some kind of helicopter SAS team to put sleeping gas into his room at night and airlift him to John Lennon Airport. And while he's still in a hazy state, get him to sign on for 5 years. Because I think this guy in the next 5 years will prove himself to be one of the best attackers in the entire world. And he's got a great attitude. There you go. And Spider says the anti-plot. Yes, Arteta, the anti-plot. Wolves have lost Cunha and Ait-Nouri. Yes, that's very true. So longevity-wise, they'll struggle. Yeah, I mean, those are big losses. Let's see who they brought in. My boy's still sleeping, so this is good news. I can mess around on the internet a bit more. Let me just see. Wolves signings. Summer 25. Okay. Fer Lopez, so 21-year-old right winger from Celta de Vigo. John Arias, a right winger. David Muller. David Muller-Wolf, left back from AZ Alkmaar. Don't know him, never watched the Eredivisie. Matthias Mane is a centre forward, promoted from the under-21s. He's only 17 years old. Ooh, good to have another Mane in the Premier League. You can't help but just smile, can you, when you hear the word Mane? What a player. I miss Sadio so much. His snarl. Do you remember his snarl? He'd be like, "Arr!" So angry. Most of the time. For no reason. It's a throw in. Sadio's like, "Arr!" Loved that guy. So yeah. They got so all right. Strand Larsen, Fer Lopez, John Arias, David Muller-Wolf, Matthias Mane, Fabio Silva has come back from loan, and they've got a few players back from loan, including Hugo Bueno. Remember him? Yana Hoover, who some people were raving about. He's now 23 years old, and I could see it back at the time. A little bit like Fabio Silva. I'm not sure. Well, I'm more sure about Kiana Hoover not having what it takes, unfortunately, to get to the very top of the game. Fabio Silva, I don't know. We'll see how it goes for him, but he hasn't particularly impressed. So yeah, okay, they brought in some players. They brought in a left back. They brought in a striker, and I'm just really, really, really impressed by Jurgen Strand Larsen, who's 25. He's going to have consistency. He's going to be awesome. For Kev, he says they seem like stopgap signings and not enough time to save them. Okay. Douglas from the dugout says Leeds are about to sign DCL. Does that change your mind, Douglas, that Leeds are going to stay up? DCL, he cares more about handbags than he does about playing professional football. That's a very poor signing. That's just sort of that. If any team signs Leeds, like Leeds, if any team has the policy like Leeds have of signing a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then I'm sorry, but that's indicative that your entire strategy, the entire people who make decisions, don't know what they're talking about. They don't know. They don't know. Because it's not based on data. It's not based on anything other than perhaps the player he was 5 years ago, where he was a half-decent striker. Liverpool, man, I'd love to be in our shoes. Let's talk about us. Gary says Slot is building a dynasty. Oh, Slot is building a dynasty. It appears. If we get Leone in as well as Gehi, then we've got a back we've got 4 centre-backs of top quality. Virgil, of course, the best. Ibu, Gehi, Leone. And in a couple of years, when Virgil leaves, we could have Leone, Gehi, Konate if he stays, but we'll get a couple more centre-backs in. But we're going to have to... If we get Isak in, then Wirtz and Isak together will combine to replace Mo Salah's goals and assists easily. If we get someone like Barcola in, then we're going to do even better. Between them, they're going to get 60 goals, 70 goals, maybe even more a season. And you only need 100 goals to your entire team to win the league. Those 3 players can get 70 easily. So that would be exciting. So Mo Salah, we can replace him by spreading out his goals and assists, as long as we sign players who work hard. Virgil is just a lot harder. I'm worried about replacing Virgil. I mean, his leadership, but it's just his overall quality. Because you can't, like, the last defender we had of that quality was Alan Hansen. Sami Hyypiä was just a level down. He didn't have pace. If Sami had had pace, he would have been on that level, but he wasn't quite at that level. Otherwise, centre-backs, don't talk to me about Carragher. He's not on that level at all. He was a very, very good centre-back, 7 out of 10 every match, 8 out of 10 sometimes. Never a 10 from Carragher, never. Whereas Virgil has been 9s, 10s. The lowest Virgil goes is sort of 7, apart from the Charity Shield where he's about 2. But yeah, I think we're on the right track, building a dynasty going forward. Ekitike, oh man, he's gonna be some player. He's gonna be a heck of a player. Douglas agrees that Dominic Calvert-Lewin sounds like a desperate signing. Absolutely. Kev says DCL might not play as often, but is capable of winning them 11 to 15 points. 11 to 15 points. 5 wins. You think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will give them somewhere between 4 and 5 wins, or 3 wins and 2 draws will be from crucial goals that DCL scores. Man, Kev, I don't know. You need to tell me why. How'd you get there? How'd you get to 11 to 15 points? So he signed DCL. I would imagine if he scores 5 goals in the entire season, I would be shocked. He'd be scoring more, somewhere between 1 and 3, because he spent most of the time on the bench, and then he'll score like 1 in 10. He's just not a good player. He doesn't have speed. He doesn't have touch. He doesn't have the physicality because he's been out for so long. It's just a waste of time. Douglas says, I'm amazed Manchester United are not looking at a goalkeeper because all of their keepers bar Heaton are absolutely awful. I would say Heaton's pretty rubbish as well. He's got to be about 40 years old these days. Man United, I mean, their goalkeeper, absolute trash. Goalkeepers, absolute trash. Bayern Deer and Onana. I think they must be looking at a goalkeeper. They must be, Doug. They must be. They'd be absolute fools not to. But then they've proven themselves to be absolute fools. But rumours about Donnarumma, I think their problem is attracting a goalkeeper. And a really good goalkeeper at that. It's such an important position. So if I were them, what would I do? I'd go around Europe and I'd sign the best sort of under 23 goalkeeper I can find from an unfashionable place like Portugal, Holland, something like that. You know, when you got, for example, when you've got a national team with a really, really good number 1, then you look at their number 2 or their number 3, and maybe they've got a really good number 2 it's not really a household name. You know, think outside the box a bit. Jan Sommer, for example, is he Switzerland's number 1? What's Switzerland's number 2 like? Just out of interest, you know. because they can't be as bad as Onana and Bayindir. They're terrible, and they fill the whole crowd with anxiety. So yeah, I think they must be looking at a goalkeeper, Douglas. But it's just who. I mean, I would sign anyone. I would sign anyone. I'd just, get some binoculars outside, stand at Old Trafford, and point at someone in the street, and man, woman, child, pensioner, stick them in goal. Can't be worse. Gary Richards says, Owen, what formation do you think Slot has in mind? Well, I think you've asked the question slightly wrong because you're missing an S, Gary. What formations do you think Slot has in mind? Because I think it's going to be plural. I think we're going to have plans A, B, C, and D, sometimes in the same match. We saw a couple of them in the Charity Shield, although the formation change really didn't work in this game. It could work in other games. So we switched to having 2 number 10s. But I wonder, the one I was thinking about yesterday was a back 3, which I don't think he's ever done, but I might be wrong, in his career, Slot. But a back 3? Think about it. Gahey, Konate, Van Dijk, centre-backs. Frimpong and Kirkes, because of that back 3, they can bomb up as much as they like. They're basically 2 wingers, Kirkes and Frimpong. Good players. 2 holding midfielders, McAllister, Gravenberch. A free roll ahead of them, Florian Wirtz, just to attack. And then a front 2 of Gakpo and Salah. Ekitike and Salah, or Ekitike and Gakpo. That's a heck of a team. That's a heck of a formation. I think, it depends on the opposition and everything. If you're playing a bottom 10 team, if you're playing the Dross, then you don't need 3 at the back. But if you want to keep it tight, or if you're playing a team that also plays 3 at the back, like Palace did, who are a good team, Man United playing 3 at the back is a tricky formation to play against unless you just match them up man for man, pretty much. You also play 3 at the back, and I think that could really... There would be a time and a place for that, although the majority of the time I expect 4-2-3-1 or a version of that. But formations don't really matter in terms of that's one formation that we use, but within the game itself, if we have control, if we have possession, then you'll see what we've seen a lot, which is 2 defenders back, and it's like a 2-4-4 basically, or a 2-3-5, or 2-2-6. Depends. It depends on the game state and what's going on. And I think Slot likes to muck around with it, depending on the game state. Kev says, Leone looks good. Every single top club in Italy wanted him, and he chose us, every one of them. Like a mix of VD and John Terry. No pressure then. I've seen one video of Leone, and he does look an absolute monster, but Kwanzaa would look like a monster if you put in his best bits of last season. So I'm not gonna judge anything from that. Just very exciting. I'm excited by how big he is and how strong he looks at 18. Kev says Farker is the manager. They could be the late winning or drawing team this season. I don't think DCL will start, just a super sub type to set up and assist with headers and holding up the play. Okay, you have more faith in him than I do. That's fair enough. Hook 1976, welcome to the channel. Hook says goalkeeper is the basis of a team's spine. It really is. I mean, goalkeeper, the most important for me. Goalkeeper, then number 6, then your striker. These are the most important players in any team. And your centre backs, of course. But yeah, the goalkeeper, number 6, and the strikers, essential that you get good ones. Essential. Gary says 3-5-2. Well, there you go. That's one option. And Hook says fluid formations, but I don't trust Slot to rotate too much. Yeah, he does like a settled team, doesn't he, Hook? He loves to keep it simple. But anyway, I have to go because I think my boy's waking up. I've got to go babysit, look after him. It's not really babysit when it's your own child, is it? I don't know. After 2 years of being a dad, I've still got no idea. But I hope that everyone's well. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.